Hello, I'm Bruce Lorincz, and this show is called Bruce on the Loose. We talk to people in city government. We talk to people, within the city and also school district, and also businesses and corporations in town. Justin Todd is with us, a head football coach here at Wadsworth. Coach, thanks for being here and organizing your 4 captains. Could you introduce them for us?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks for having us. And
to the right?
To my right, I've got 2 junior captains, and then to the left, I've got 2 senior captains. So we've got junior running back free safety Gavin Madigan, junior linebacker tight end Jacob Ernest, junior offensive linebacker Brady O'Connor, senior, and then senior Sean Kincaid, who's an offensive lineman and a linebacker as well for us.
I'm sure you're very happy to have such leaders on your team. Sometimes that really helps you to do other important things and maybe say a word to them, or sometimes you don't even have to say something, do you?
Yeah, well, these guys are liaisons between the coaching staff and the team, which is really unique. So I go to these guys in different instances. Not everything is negative, a lot of positive things, but they really are they're the I guess
conduit.
the conduit or the mouthpiece from the program to our staff. And if there's things that need to be handled, I go to them. And they can come to me. So, but these are team elected captains, and we place a big emphasis on what leadership means within our program. And it's not always, although these guys are some of our best players, it's not always our best players that are elected captains. It's our best leaders and the guys that their teammates feel like they'd really go to bat for. So,
Coach, let's find out a little bit about you. Where did you go to high school and college?
So I am a graduate of East Knox High School, which is in Knox County, center of the state.
Very small school.
Real small.
Very small school.
About the size of Rittman. We graduated, largest graduating class in school history of 82.
Wow.
Then I went to Mount Union College, now known as the University of Mount Union. Played football there and majored in education. And then upon graduation, I returned to my alma mater, became a physical education and health teacher, and then my first coaching job was at Loudonville High School, which is another small school in southern Ashland County.
Home of the Redbirds.
That's right, the Fighting Redbirds.
Yeah,
that's right.
Black River, I was AD. We were in that conference with Buckeye and West Holmes.
Yeah, a wonderful little community.
Yeah,
and,
really. You knew Joe Barone?
Know him all.
Okay,
yep, absolutely.
He was a music teacher here and then went to Loudonville.
Yep.
Small world, isn't it?
Yep, absolutely.
What do you teach, Coach?
So I'm the director of what's called Opportunity School, and essentially what my job is to navigate a graduation pathway for students that are at risk of graduation, whether it be for academics or attendance or behavior, whatever that is. So there's a variety of reasons why they get placed with me. My job is to create that pathway, build a relationship with them, help them get into the workforce. And so it's a really unique job. I serve about 40 students, but I'm with them all day, and it's something I really enjoy.
Not only do you motivate football players, you motivate students.
I try to
get on the right path and,
That's right.
and get going.
Yep.
Okay, why did you organize? Last Friday I was walking on the walking path here in Suprema, and I saw this massive group of individuals getting ready for the Suprema event.
Yeah, well, in our program, we want to give back, and we talk about that a lot. These guys are heavily involved in a number of things that we do, whether it be with the youth organization, youth camps. If you look at our fundraisers that we do, they're all service activities. We mulch Wadsworth in the spring, which isn't always the most pleasurable thing to do, but it's there are people out there that physically can't do those types of things, or they don't have the ability to get the mulch to their house for a variety of reasons. So that's a really great service fundraiser. But we partnered with the senior center, gosh, it was before COVID. And they just asked if we could get a group of guys. And at that point, they were doing it on days that we had school. So it was really easy. Kids got out of first period class. Everybody volunteered for that. Well, over the last couple of years, it's been on a day when we don't have school. So to have the number of kids that we had show up on their day off is a testament to these kids and their upbringing, their parents, and it's something we enjoy doing every year.
And it's really appreciated. I talked to Lori Wilkinson, the director, and she just went on and on how it was very helpful to her and all the groups that came in.
Yep.
And she also wanted to let the team know that so many senior citizens, if they can't get out and watch the game, they certainly view it on WCTV, get a little plug in for the station here, and they don't miss a game, and they come in on Monday and really talk the game up.
Yeah, it's a unique opportunity for the people in our community to be able to watch the game live. It's unique here. It's not something that you find in other communities. So we're fortunate that we have the coverage that we do, and the guys that do the announcing and the sideline, and so it's a well done production.
No question about it. Gavin, what about you? Coach introduced you as two different positions, two different units. Do you have a preference? Do you like the offense better or the defense?
I kind of do get that question a lot, but I think I've kind of decided, like, I don't really have a preference.
You don't have.
Both my positions kind of allow me to play physical, which is kind of my style of football. I like to play physical more than a finesse player, but I enjoy them both.
Unfortunately, at the Nordonia game, you got a little ding. You were on the field, and the trainers took care of you. Are you on the mend?
Yeah, we're on the trend up for sure.
No question about it.
I'm not going to put a timeline to it or anything.
No.
It's getting better for sure. We're getting there.
For sure. Do you now the captains really have their responsibilities, duty? Do you kind of talk to these guys a little bit? Say, maybe this is a position that you're in. Do you want to talk to this guy, or do you kind of do it on your own?
Yeah, that's why we're kind of blessed to be captains, and that's why we appreciate it. We're in a place where we can make a positive impact on the team, and so we're always communicating how we can improve the team, what problems to fix, stuff like that. So we're always talking about what to do.
Yeah, no question about it. That is really, brainstorming is really important, and you can get on the same page. Mm-hmm. Coach, you have a new AD this year, Tim Campbell. What have you helped him a little bit, and vice versa?
Yeah,
actor new guy.
Yeah, so I met Tim several years ago. He and I actually organized a youth strength training event.
Okay, all right.
That was the first time that I had met him, and we hit it off. Similar leadership styles, similar interests, and so I was an athletic director when I was at Loudonville.
Oh, right.
So there's been a couple things where I've went. He's asked me questions. Did you ever experience things like this? So we've had a lot of conversation, but I think he's made a tremendous impact already on the athletic department. He's doing some unique things, and he's pushing us to a higher level. So I've enjoyed working with him and seeing the things that he's doing behind the scenes, and I think we're on the way up. I think it's really good.
But kind of interesting, you see you're going to the Columbus area, New Albany. Last year you went to Maryland and played a game. Yeah. It seems like Grizzly football is getting not only in the Suburban League but outside.
Yeah, so the Maryland trip was by circumstance.
Right.
Solon, who we play tomorrow night, was not in the league last year, so we had to find a Week 9 game. We looked all around the state of Ohio. We looked surrounding states, and we thought we were going to end up taking a bye, to be honest with you. Then this Maryland school, who I'd never heard of, reached out, and they needed us to travel there, and we got it approved and got some people to donate funds so that way we could do the trip. But that was cool. It was one, even though we lost, it was a great game. It was one of the best experiences I've ever had with a group of young men. I mean, it was just, from stopping at the 9/11 memorial to staying the night and waking up, it was like a college trip. It really was a college-type atmosphere. This year with the New Albany game, again, they're traditional power. A couple years ago, they were in the regional championship game. So I wanted to showcase our players to a different part of the state. When I was at Mount Vernon, we did play some Columbus schools. So I thought it was, we'd actually played New Albany. So I thought it was a great opportunity for our kids to travel to Central Ohio and show them what Northeast Ohio football is all about.
And you also maybe get different styles.
Sure,
Maryland may have different sets and things you haven't seen, and
Yep.
you may get in the playoffs and maybe see some of those same sets.
Ironically, the Maryland trip, they played a similar offense as to what New Albany played. So that helped us as a coaching staff and as players, prepare for that.
Jacob, what about some of the workouts that you do during the summer to get prepared? Those really, people underestimate how important those are, don't they?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we have a lot of team-based activities, which we lift almost 4 days a week, and a lot of speed-based stuff. And we had the National Guard come in, which was really fun, really hard workout, which really prepares us for those games in the season like Nordonia, where we have a little wear and tear, and it'll help us to be like stronger and stuff, and it'll help us get those bumps and bruises.
Who did you work with?
The National Guard.
And that may pique someone's interest.
Yeah, yeah.
We certainly need good people in the military, ladies and gentlemen, doing all sorts of jobs. My father-in-law, 22 years in the Army as a tanker, and he told me lots of stories. And what about your communication with the defensive players? You know, you're in the fray, you're in the action. Can you see tendencies on the offensive linemen that you can help out your teammates?
Yeah, for sure. As a middle linebacker, I'm communicating the defensive front and like the stunts to the D-line and linebackers every play. But some things you see on film, like based on formations and stuff, I can call out a highly ran play or whatever. And if a lineman's sitting back farther, I could call out like he might be pulling, stuff like that.
Yeah, that's really innate to pick up some of those things. And teams have tendencies.
Yeah.
I mean, if they go ahead and have success with a play, why would they throw it in the trash can, right?
Sure.
They're going to go ahead and use it and see how it goes against the Grizzlies. No question about it. Coach, what about you? Describe the Suburban League. Not an easy league from top to bottom, is it?
No, I spoke to somebody about this the other day. So you have your, right now there's kind of the top tier, which would be Hudson, Nordonia, and Wadsworth right now. But even the guys that are, where the records aren't as good, like when you look, I said this, I said, if you put together an all-star team, a Suburban League all-star team, you would have great players representing each of their schools on that team. There are so many good football players.
Twinsburg
has great. I mean, you name it. You go down the board. The team we just beat last week, Stowe. And they've got 5 senior offensive linemen. They average 275 pounds across the board. They've got an outside receiver that was as good as anybody we've seen. Their quarterback's a 3-year starter. Solon has 3 dynamic wide receivers. They've got a great defensive end. I mean, there are so many good football players in the Suburban League. And the one thing that we talk about is that the most physical team always wins the Suburban League. And when you do win the Suburban League, you are a threat in the playoffs to win your region year in and year out. Like, you are a highly ranked team, and nobody wants to play teams from the Suburban League because you know that you've been battle tested.
No question. No easy marks on the schedule, huh?
Nope,
what about the trainers, Coach? Do you talk about support people behind the scenes?
Yeah.
The trainers are.
Yeah, so we've got our
goal.
primary athletic trainer is a guy named Todd Sable, and I mean this. He's the single best trainer I've ever been around, college or high school. His attention to detail, his care for the athletes, his progressive nature when it comes to rehabbing injuries. There's really, for a football coach, trainers are defined in one of 2 ways: those that want to get people back on the field and work their tails off to get them there, and those that that are just they're gonna err on the side of caution. And I think Todd does a really good job of navigating that line, but he really wants to get kids. He's an athlete himself. His return to play protocols are exceptional, and I feel really comfortable when he comes to me and he says, "Hey, this guy can't go back in." Then I know that there's something serious. But most of the time we're looking for ways to get our guys back to action.
Brady, how have you improved as a football player over the years?
A lot of off-season work. I mean, all of us guys, we put a lot of hours into the weight room. We're always at the field, and we're just trying to get better. But I want to thank Coach Todd too, though, because he gives us a weight training program, and if you really commit to that, you're going to become a better player and an athlete overall. So
I think a lot of people forget that if you get in the weight room, your tendency to be injured probably goes down, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. If you're stronger and healthier, you're going to be better on the field. So.
And a lot of players get hurt after the play's over. They relax and someone pows them.
Yeah.
Isn't that the case sometimes?
Yeah.
The play's over
sometimes.
and you weren't in the line of attack and you get hurt that way.
Yeah. Yep.
What about how does it make you feel when you have a key block that springs a big run or big pass completion?
It's awesome, but it's really rewarding because throughout the week you're working towards that big block. So when you do get that big block, it's really fun. you get to run down with your running back, and it's fun.
Yeah, that little celebration.
Yep.
Not too much in the end zone.
Yeah.
Some never know about those flags from the refs.
Yep.
So yeah, that's really good.
Yep.
Linemen sometimes don't get the credit.
Yeah, exactly.
But they really are the heart and soul of any team.
Yep.
Coach, what about your freshman quarterback, Bryson Hall?
Yeah.
I mean, when you say freshman alone, some people they shake their head. Some people say, well, you know, they're pretty wet behind the ears
Sure.
and can't get it done. But why is he different?
Well, it's what's between the ears. Probably as mature of a young man as I've been around at that age. You know, I mean, it's almost robotic, but it's definitely unique in the sense that freshmen, a lot of times, for him to understand, pick up our offense and understand where he's supposed to go with the ball and all of his reads, and so physically, he's really good. You know, and that's one thing. But there's a lot of freshmen that are physically good. But it's definitely his mental approach to the game. He studies as much film. I track our guys' hours on what they put on film study, and Bryson's always near the top. So he puts a lot of time into it. On Sundays, you see him up there. He's up at the field throwing with his old man. So it's just, he's always, I've known him since he was a little kid, and he's always had the dream of being, like, his dream is to be the Wadsworth quarterback. His dream is to win a state championship at Wadsworth. And he models both on the field and off the field the right way of doing things. So pretty impressive young man.
Those are pretty lofty goals he has, but to have those.
Why have goals if they're not lofty?
That's true. That's true. To go ahead and earmark your career and your off-season work and in-season.
Yeah.
That's pretty positive.
Yeah, it is. It's neat.
No question about it. Hey, Sean, how do you prepare for poor weather coming up? I mean, it's going to be 70s coming up this weekend, and we love it, but maybe down the road it's not going to be quite, maybe a little inclement weather, maybe sleet, snow, you never know.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really control the weather, so we really preach, like, control what you can control. So, I mean, if it's say it's raining out, the receivers will practice, like, no gloves, catching the ball, like, wet. But other than that, I mean, we don't really worry about the weather, just worry about the game plan.
When we had our weather game.
That was Hudson.
No, there was that one too, but the previous one against Medina, Sean had a pick six. So as an outside linebacker,
wow.
So he reached out. He was working without those gloves and with the wet ball. That's right.
Oh,
Yeah, that's payback. Medina, we owed them, didn't we, Sean?
Oh, yeah.
No question about it. What does your diet look like, and your meals at home?
Yeah, so, like, in the off season it was pretty strict. I was trying to get my body, like, at peak, as peak as it could get. But, right now Coach Todd kind of preaches it, eat anything and everything in sight, because we're burning so many calories, like practice, games, so it's kind of vital to get as many calories in.
Coach, what about the community, the cheerleaders, the administration? How have they added to the program?
Well, I'll start with the cheerleaders. So every week after school's over, I see the ladies up in our hallway, and they're making signs, and they're big banners, and they eat team meal with us on Thursday. We really are fortunate that we have a group of young ladies and their coaches that care so much about our guys and about the program. Our administration is second to none. All of them love football, which is fantastic, and they enjoy going to the games. They interact with the students, and there's a great sense of pride. When our players play well, our administration feels that, and really from the community, there's no other place. I tell the guy that, like, this is the greatest place to be. This is the greatest place to play high school football. Our community, they stand up a little bit taller, their chins up a little bit higher when our guys play well, and when our guys play really hard. It's a reflection of their town, of a blue collar mentality, and so I think they appreciate, how hard our guys play, and it's not always about the winning, but it's about the effort that they display and the character at which they do it, and it's really impressive, and so we're thankful for our community support, and I think they're thankful for our young men.
It's a testament to our stadium. We have soccer tournaments, and we hopefully maybe have some home football games and some other OHSAA
Yeah,
tournaments?
it's a premier stadium in Northeast Ohio. There's not a visiting coach that doesn't come in and rave about the location of it. And it's big, and it's nice to not have the track surround. A lot of stadiums you go to, you have the track, and then there's the walkway, and then there's the fans are right up on the game, and I just think that's a cool experience. And then the location of it. I like looking up on Friday nights, and some of the houses have their fires burning. They're sitting around the fire pit watching the game, and so it's a very cool stadium.
Looking down the road, Gavin, what you have plans for college? I guess you have one more year of high school. Maybe in the winter start looking around.
Yeah, I mean, nothing's for certain yet, but I'm exploring some engineering degrees maybe.
Yeah, well, that's
Something like
really
that.
good. As a graduate of University of Akron, you might look right down the road. Very, very
Yeah,
good
we'll see.
program indeed.
Yep.
As a former Zip, Jacob, what about you? What are your thoughts?
I'm trying to go into sports medicine, so whatever school gives me scholarships and I don't have to pay that much money.
Well, it's going up, up and up and up. I think your brother is in Campbell University in North Carolina.
Yeah.
See, my memory isn't that bad. Yeah, and he's still wrestling there?
Yeah.
Okay. And Brady, what?
I'm actually planning on trying to get into a building trade.
Oh.
I'm not sure which one, but hopefully getting into a good one and staying.
Yeah, there's certainly lots of opportunities. A lot of houses being built in the Medina County area, Wadsworth. Certainly, any aspect of building trades, carpentry, that's fantastic. Sean, what about you?
I plan on going in the business world. I don't know where yet, but some type of business degree.
Yeah, that's fantastic. A lot of good business schools. Again, Akron U has a very good business college. I keep pushing the Akron U zips, but really, Coach, could you predict at the beginning of the year you'd be this 8-0 with 2 games left with this week? I think we have Solon coming up, and the last 2 games are home, little home cooking.
Yeah, it is nice. We started off on the road, so your talent sets your floor. Right? I mean, and we knew that we were going to be good. We knew that we had great players and a lot of guys returning from last year's championship team. And so we felt like we had an opportunity to be in every game. But then it's about what do the players do Monday through Thursday? Do they give themselves an opportunity to play great on Friday? And to our guys' credit, they've done that. Our practices this year have been as good as any year that we've had. They're spirited, they're focused, they're locked in. And when you've got good leadership, and when you practice the right way, and when you give yourself an opportunity in the off season to get bigger, faster, stronger, you set yourself up for a chance for success, and that's what these guys have done. So I know it's going to sound cliche, but to be honest with you, before the season started, I was thinking about Barberton. And that was it. That was game one. And then we moved on to New Albany. I mean, that's our approach right now. And so,
you sound like Tito Francona. That's the way.
Well, he did okay too.
Yes,
so,
yes, he did. Yes, he did.
But that's the truth. Like if we're going to ask our kids to do it, then we're going to do it as well. And that's the message that I preach to our coaching staff, and that's the message that we preach to the players. And to their credit, they've bought into that.
Tell us about your Suburban coaching staff.
It is pretty phenomenal. We've got a lot of guys that have the ability to be a head coach. They've got the characteristics to do that. Some of them will do that at some point. So we've got a number of guys on both sides of the ball. Our coaching staff is split. So we have an offensive side and a defensive side, which you talked about administrative support. We're appreciative of that. And it's really a good cohesive group. So we're all on a text group together. And I don't know, it's like between 100 and 150 messages sent back and forth per day. So it's a group of guys that really get along together. We enjoy being around one another. And what makes that click is all of them are selfless. Like, it's not about the offense or the defense or the special teams, it's about the Grizzlies. And we just want to make sure that all of our kids are put in a position to be successful. And so we work hand in hand, and when we win and when our kids are successful, it's good for everybody.
Well, all the groups have to work together. I mean, if you have, the defense that lets down on third down, then that's really a problem. If you have an offense 3 and out, then the defense gets tired, I would imagine, after a while. And Coach, what about, these guys? Do you have a lot of guys playing both ways?
We do more than we've had in years past. So we are in a unique position. We have a smaller senior class and we have a smaller sophomore class. We've got a big junior class. We've got a big freshman class. We've got 90 kids playing at the middle school level. So we're in this little bit of a void, which we anticipated happening. Actually, we kind of foresaw it. But so we do have a lot of guys that are playing on both sides of the ball, but we have capable. So we try to say that we've got 25 to 28 starters. And that's our objective every year, is to have, our 11 offense, 11 defense, and then we want to have capable guys behind them. And we do have that. So, a guy like Gavin, he's running the ball, but we feel comfortable with the people that, that are giving him a break, or vice versa. If we just had a big defensive series, we've got capable guys, on the offensive side to pick up the slack. So they play a lot, on both sides of the ball, but we've got capable people to help them out.
Brady, what about the student body? We didn't talk a lot about them, but I'm sure as the week goes on, they pretty get excited, and as you get into Hudson and Nordonia and some of the tougher schools, Stowe, they probably buck you up a little bit and say you can get them.
Yeah, they're awesome. I mean, when I'm on the sideline, I hear them every game. They're going crazy, and they always show up, even on away games. They're always there. There's always a crowd. So. Yeah,
that's
awesome.
Very important to have your home squad there, cheering section, and they certainly Wadsworth travels well.
We do.
Jacob, we go to places. We go, again down to Columbus area, New Albany, and the Grizzlies are really favorites of the senior citizens, people in school, graduates. All sorts of people just follow you, and that has to make you feel really good.
Yeah, for sure it does. I mean, the fans' support, going out there on Friday night and just knowing I have a whole town behind me rooting for us, it's really special. Yeah,
no question about it. Coach, good luck. Two games left in the regular season. Yep. Then you'll let the chips fall where they may for anything after that. And guys, good luck to you. And Gavin, hopefully you're back in the lineup before too long. And enjoyed it. Learned a lot about the Grizzly football program. And thanks to you guys, and thanks for everyone watching Bruce on the Loose. We'll be back next week with another show.
You are watching WCTV, Wadsworth Community Television.